take it slow, but I can't stay when the world is waiting. I'm too used.
Recently, I took a road trip from Leh to Goroka, Papua New Guinea. It's a 4-hour drive, but it's not just a drive. It's one of the most stunning drives in Papua New Guinea, where you watch the world change. You start off in a humid coastal town, and as you climb up the mountains, the palm trees fade into coniferous trees and coffee gardens, and the heat gives way to cool mountain air, all in a few hours. Life was on repeat for a while. I needed out, and this trip was a great reset. We passed Nadzab Airport, took the Highlands turn off, and soon the plains gave way to rising hills and grazing cattle. The drive through the wide Makam Valley is long and flat, stretching through dry grasslands and distant mountains. The road cuts straight through an endless expanse of open plains, flanked by towering mountain ranges that sit like silent giants on both sides, with a river weaving its way beside it. I got obsessed with the cows grazing along the highway. I don't know why. They just look carefree with no deadlines, no rush, just grass, blue skies, and time on their side. There were new oil palm plantations I had never seen before. My favorite part of this road trip is watching the mountains grow taller as we climb. First the coconut trees vanished, then the air turned crisp and we were winding through Kasam Pass. And suddenly we were somewhere completely different. Somewhere where time remembers to slow down and nobody seems to be in a rush. Eventually we reached Yonki Dam. The view here is picture perfect. Yonki Dam supplies power to major Highlands towns as well as Leh and Medang. We crossed into Goroka and I stopped by Fanyufa for the best cheat meal of all time. I ate crispy, a bit greasy, but tasty charred and smoked lamb flaps with zero guilt. Then I hit up the thrift stores. The second-hand stores in Goroka never disappoint. You never know what treasures you can find. A lot of them still have the original tags never worn, and many are brand names from Australia, the US, and Europe. I finished the day at the local market. They sold fresh strawberries, sweet pineapples, and the broccoli, cabbages, cauliflower, and carrots straight from the garden. No chemicals, no fuss, just honest organic produce. I only had a short stay in Goroka, but I made the most of every moment. The fresh air, the views, the laid-back pace, it was such a nice break. Then came the flight back to Port Moresby, and things took an unexpected turn. I showed up at the airport early the next day, ready to head home. Flights cancelled, they said. Come back in a few hours. No explanation, no real plan, just come back at 1 p.m. I returned later at 1 p.m., checked in, boarded the plane, buckled up and waited. And waited. The engines tried to start, failed, tried again, still nothing. Then came the announcement. One of the engines wasn't starting. The pilot said they'd give it time to cool down and try again. And I sat there thinking, cool down and try again doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Minutes passed, nothing changed. Finally, we were told to get off the plane. We were all spending an extra night in Goroka. The problem was most of us had already checked out of our hotels. We scrambled for receipts to prove it so the airline could arrange a new place for us to stay the night. The lodge we were sent to, well, let's just say it had character. The kind that makes you double-check the locks on the doors. The night view from the large veranda was lovely. However, the walls were thin and I could hear the phone conversations and snoring in the rooms next to mine. I hardly slept that night. I slept with the lights on for a few hours only. It was scary and an uncomfortable experience. I know this sounds like a rant, but I'd rather be real than sugarcoated. I've heard too many stories just like mine. Flights turning back midway, flights turning around a few minutes after takeoff, engines failing / technical issues, people missing international flight connections because of domestic flight delays and cancellations. Delays and technical issues are part of air travel. In every country, in every airline. I get that. And safety should always come first. But here's the thing. This is happening all the time in Papua New Guinea. Not a day goes by that you don't hear about a flight cancellation or a technical issue. It's becoming normal. This is what happens when there is little to no competition, when you've got a monopoly or a duopoly controlling the skies. And with no real competition, they have no pressure to do better. The lack of competition often leads to higher prices, poor services like delays and cancellations, and worst of all, no accountability. And that's not just bad service, it's frightening, it's frustrating, and it's unacceptable. People's lives are being gambled with, and that's not okay. Are we going to wait for a major air disaster before we begin having serious conversations about improving aviation safety in PNG? If you've had a similar experience, share it in the comments. Let's stop normalizing this and talk about it. Because safe, reliable air travel isn't a luxury. It's basic expectation. This was my experience. I didn't share this to complain. I shared it because it matters. Everything about this trip reminded me how stunning Papua New Guinea is. The landscapes, the food, the people, they are the best parts about this country. But this experience was also a harsh reminder that even in a place this beautiful, some systems are broken. But they don't have to stay that way. The first step toward change is speaking up. And that's why I'm sharing this. Let's not settle for less when safety and accountability should be non-negotiable.